after the presentation of our colleague from Benin. I don't know if I have something to add. To go deeply into the actions and the questions that the work seekers can ask. Before entering into these elements, I want to present the project's migration, which is a mobility project in Western Africa, in the public services of Senegal, Mauritania, Cape Verde, Togo. The project Migration would to deal the contextual elements and the implication involvement of the European Union, as you have seen today with the EU official who talked before you here, especially the legal framework, especially about the Migration project that I'm presenting. What is the contribution of this project in the professional mobility projects, and what is its contribution to the public services of employment, and how to make the project a success. The context of this emergence of this project started by dialogue, Europe-Africa dialogue, the process of Rabat, and in that process the EU identified with African partners some pillars how to organize the regular migration and fight the illegal migration, and strengthen synergy between migration and development and the international cooperation. The EU launched a proposal to contribution which gave birth to that project. And this project was included four projects: the ANAPEC of Morocco, the ANETI of Tunisia, the Bentham of Sweden, and the Emploi of France, plus the EU, which is the main financier, which finances the project at 90%, and the other a project of 2,100,000,000 euros. For these five, the SP of Mauritania, l'ANPEJ of Senegal, l'IFP of Cape Verde, l'IB of Ghana, and the ANP of Togo. These are the direct beneficiaries of this project, but we have indirect beneficiaries who are the candidates for migration. The objective of this project is migration, to help the national institutions give technical assistance to the public services of employment, and help satisfy or respond to some questions, the problematically related to the professional migration. The second objective is to give priority to the beneficiary networks and to learn about their experiences. One of the major problems in the mobility is the synergy in information, and the absence of this information will create difference about the regular migration problems at the level of migrants and at other points of the Northern Africa. So our objective is to allow the African professional, especially in the space of the projects, to benefit from the integral mobility, to know better the market of labor, and to have services adapted to the needs of those people who want to come back to their countries. Migration, its contribution to the question of mobility. As said earlier today, there are areas who serve as transit areas, other as host areas, as we saw with the arrow of the arrows going to Cote d'Ivoire and to Ghana. At the level of the whole West Africa, there are flow of people, which is old, or flows related to the interconnection between the world. These people may not have needs because this path of migration has existed for a long time. So at the public services of employment, our job is to accompany the displacement of this population. This flow needs to be organized, and the job of the project is to accompany the public service of employment in implement its methodological approach. We worked with the public service of employment on the basis on making solutions and diagnosis provided by the different public service of employment, and there is a cooperation south and allows the neighboring PSE to work in cooperation and to exchange the experiences and the knowledge in terms of employment. It is better for each PSE to know their job and to know better, because they know better the labor market and the public service of employment, and they know better the expectation regarding the labor market so this will help them in the management of the flow of migrants. By mobilizing the diaspora, as colleagues talked today about the contribution of the diaspora in the GDP of the countries, but there is the transfer of knowledge and capacities. These are fundamental elements in the development of a country, to have a staff who is able to accompany development and growth. So this is one of the contributions of the Mega Action. To attain this, we have worked with the public services of employment, the 6 beneficiary ones. So to have a successful project needs to have an accompaniment and the request to have help. There are several questions that are needed by a pilot projects to be successful. We have trained advisors, managers, so as to allow the employment seekers to benefit from the and essential stage of the project, and we have worked on that in particular to discover. This is important for someone who wants to work on the mobility project, and to have in mind the relevant advice to know the market of labor and look for the opportunities in your create tools So to anticipate the useful sites. In point number 1, which is the major point, you have to acquire the necessary language. So evaluate what I know. An immigrant who wants to go abroad, the first question, what do I know, and what should I deepen in terms of my knowledge? The cost of life, the transport. Do I know the language of the target country? Do I know anything about the local labor market? Do the diplomas that I have have any value there in that country? Is it better for me to work? Am I qualified for national and international work? He cannot answer all these questions. That's why at the level of Migrant Action, with the advisors, we have trained them to accompany the migrants and answer these questions. If someone does not ask himself these questions, he will not be able to succeed in his project. Then the question is, what do I need to know? Going to abroad is an adventure, so I need to know the necessary elements. What are the possibilities of the target countries in terms of labor and work? The type of contracts, the nature of work. These are questions that we should ask ourselves about. So we need answers to the questions like what do I need to work abroad? What kind of work I am searching for? Can I work in a multicultural space? If I want to know if I'm Mauritanian and I want to work in Qatar or Saudi Arabia or in Paris, it's a multicultural environment. Am I able to go there and work? What is the level of the official language in the official language? So we should learn about the professions we are looking for in the target countries. Because in some countries there are many professions, many jobs that are highly demanded. So the opportunities of jobs there is the open market and the hidden market. So this the market we should pass through the hidden market, the one that we can't see. What is a hidden market is discussed secretly. Someone knows me and he tells me about a job. So it's a market which is not accessible for everybody, but you need some relations, some networks that are necessary to know that. That's why most of the regular migration, it's a hidden market, and these migrants Sime says, I'm here, this part of the world, and they are looking for mesas or farmers, and they are searching. So this is the hidden market that can be obtained, or we have access to through these relations, through this. So this person who wants to migrate should ask this kind of questions. So the tools of research, there are classical models. So we need to have a CV and covering letters in Tunisia or Sweden, France, in Dakar. All this work, the advisors that we have trained in Marrakesh or in their countries, we give them this code and these keys to accompany the work seekers in Luxembourg and Switzerland and so on. It is a basic principle that allows to prepare and to make your professional projects. The last point is to evaluate, to have a successful interview and present your best face. There are some work seekers. For them, it is a commercial relationships. So we sell our profile, we sell our knowledge, but the recruitment is different from country to another. So you have to show your best side, to show that you are able, which may not be related to diplomas or degrees, but to other sides. So in these questions that they ask themselves, these advisors of mobility should be able to accompany them. You want to go to that country, so you need that one, that thing, and that. There are sites that we worked with some guides and some manuals that prepare the migrants for mobility and the where can I live, the accommodation in the suburbs of Paris, in Stockholm. So a successful project should take all these in consideration and should be able to answer them and to anticipate your return. We have worked on the circular migration to go 3 or 4 months abroad in Spain, France, in Italy, and come back after after this period, and then you prepare, you train the migration seeker to the status of migrants, the type of contract. Maybe the migrant knows where he would go. Maybe he does not. So you should have answer to these. So you have to consult the useful addresses. All this work, we do that with the public service of employment. We have worked on, first of all, we worked on general objective, which answer satisfy the expectations of the the employment seekers, so as to have some accompaniment to define a project with the international mobility project that has been constructed by the experts in the field. Then there is work on, we have created a professional team, and then we trained them, and then we equipped them, and then they should work on the 3 components, the services and the candidates to immigration and those returning. So this is an important stage of this project. Thank you very much.